For the first time this year, we're talking to you after a Kentucky loss. That's right. The Wildcats fell. I don't even know what the score was. 22-19 at Ole Miss.
Scoregami, maybe.
Yeah, it's a tough loss, Adam Luckett. I know entering this game from a 10,000-foot perspective, you could say, hey, Kentucky, they already beat one ranked team on the road. You're going to play two more.
Right.
Just win one of those games and you should be fine. But this one
out,
hurt
yeah.
because Kentucky had so many opportunities to win this football game, and they left it all on the table.
I mean, last three possessions here, Nick kind of tells a story on offense. Bearing down kick return, get the ball at the Ole Miss 32, you go 4 and out, turnover on downs. You have a beautiful 11-play, 74-yard drive. I thought a great third down call by Rich Gangarello there, right outside the red zone. There was just under 3 minutes left in that game, so they were gonna maybe score and not leave Ole Miss anytime. It was gonna be like an all-time Kentucky drive, like a 9-10 minutes touchdown drive. Levis puts the ball on the turf. Yep. Your defense bows up, gets stopped, 3 and out. I thought that was an iffy play calling by Lane Kiffin. He doesn't give the ball to Quinshon Judkins, who Kentucky hadn't stopped. He gets real cute with a QB run and then a jet sweep to Jordan Watkins. Kind of played in Kentucky's hand, so they get another chance. They go down, you hit Barian Brown for an explosive play, and you get the procedure penalty, takes points off the board, and then Levis. He said he was trying to hit a double move, Nick, in the postgame, so I'd have to go back on the tape and look at that. But just a tough way to lose the game.
And even having to run a double move, right? They were on the 7-yard line. They run the fade to Dane Key, and it's there. And I have gone back and looked at that to see if Barian Brown was set or not. And, it's bang, bang, right?
Yeah.
He's putting his foot
They
back.
usually give it to him, right? They usually give it to him.
Yeah. And it's just a tough call to get when you're on the road. I know Todd Blackledge wanted a targeting call, or at least to review a targeting call, Levis fumble. And then when you get the strip sack, right, you've got your back right tackle in because Jeremy Flax is cramping. David Wallball's in against their best pass rusher, gets hit from behind, and it was a brutal, brutal loss. And that doesn't count all of the special teams miscues. You mentioned Barion Brown getting tripped up, but Matt Ruffalo has been pretty automatic. He'd only missed 1 of 7 field goals entering this game. Hooks the 39-yarder.
Same distance as Florida, too, I think.
Yeah, if that wasn't in his head, then it might have been later on. He got a PAT blocked. They mess up an exchange there. That's 5 points, and you gave up a safety on a Will Levis throwaway there, which I know a lot of folks love to be eager on 3rd and 12, but when you're back up in your own end zone, maybe you just give the ball to Chris Rodriguez and live to see another down instead of giving the other team 2 points.
Yeah, we've talked about it a lot, Nick. It was good to see Chris Rodriguez back. Had just under a 50% success rate rushing. It was good to have that efficiency back in the offense. But Kentucky's going to go as far as Will Levis takes them, man. It is what it is. He did some good things passing the ball. If you take out the sacks today, he had an over 50% passing success rate and hit on some big chunk plays. Ends the day right over 9 yards per attempt. A really good day at the office. But the protection is it's bad. I don't know what else to say. It's just not good. This offensive line, Rodriguez had a good game, but Nick, they only had 3 rushes of over 10+ yards, and they had to get cute to get one of those with Isaiah Cummings, tight end shape. Yeah. Just not the offensive line is just a big net negative on this team. They can't pass the ball, drop back because they can't protect Lewis. Ole Miss is just running. I need to go back and watch the tape, but a lot of it from where I'm seeing, it's just they're running 5-man rushers with just the twist, nothing too crazy, and they just can't pick it up, man. And then scoring opportunities, Nick, you get the false starts down there.
Yeah.
You got Jeremy Flax on one, which Dingle jumped to. It could have been on either one of them, and then you get Jagger Burton the next possession. Offensive line, you cannot you're not playing you cannot afford that at all. You know what I'm saying? At all. Yeah. Offensive line's an issue. You look at the havoc rate they allowed, it was over 25% for Kentucky. So even though their efficiency is good and they're saying they had to change, when they get behind, they're getting really behind. And it's just tough. It's taken away from a lot of what they're doing well. In game, I wanted to I felt like I needed to see more from Rich Gangarello and just the offense. You wanted to see more, but then you start digging into it, and it's just what are they supposed to do? They they can't keep the quarterback clean.
Yeah.
They can't open runs or lanes in the running game. So it's very tough. And you know, it wasn't the offensive line's fault that Barry Brown wasn't set. But at the end of the day, like they have a chance to be really good on offense, but the offensive line is just it's just I don't know how you can say it's not really holding them back.
Yeah, and it's one of those things like it. We knew that Chris Rodriguez by himself could erase some of those problems, right? But you can't erase all of them, right? And you can't with the protection either, because like you mentioned, like some of those, it's hard to run some big, long, explosive plays if he doesn't have time to throw it. I know there were 2 instances where Levis went downfield and was just, slightly off target with Brown, which,
Right.
by the
They're
way,
going to get there. That's going to get there.
but like, tip your cap to Barryon Brown. Like that dude, he's freaking awesome. Not only in the return game, but he had the 2 long takes on the screen.
He almost single-handedly won Kentucky the game today.
Yeah, it was very much Lynn Bowden, Missouri type of performance.
How many? Like Ole Miss caught him from behind 3 times. Like that's not happening a lot. The one at the end, they had a great angle on him. The other one felt like he probably should have scored there. And I know he hurt his ankle at some point in the game.
Yeah.
But when they really needed a big play, he just provided it, man. You get down 2 scores early, he takes the big one to set up a touchdown drive for Kentucky, a short touchdown drive. There in the second half, Kentucky holds Ole Miss to a field goal, gives them some life. It's just he was awesome. Denke was good. I thought like Jordan Dingle, I think really flashed in the passing game.
Yeah, he had a couple of really tough catches, including that touchdown.
And then on the other side, Nick, it played out just like we talked about this week on 11 personnel. It played out exactly.
3 points in the second half.
They're going to get hit early. They have to settle in, get used to this tempo. At the end of the day, you don't think Jackson Dart's going to be able to beat them in the fourth quarter, and they get the big stop there, goal line stand. But we thought Levis would go win the game, and it was he put the ball in the turf. And it's a tough pill to swallow because it was a 50-50 game that was there for the taking for Kentucky on the road against a ranked team, top 15 opponent. A huge Kentucky turnout. Could have been a big statement game for the program, and they just dropped the ball.
They fell flat. Would have been potentially a top 5 team after getting that win.
And there's a laundry list of things that just went wrong, like the kicking game, the ill-timed false starts, the ill-timed procedure penalties.
Well, and then
quarterback fumbling. Like, did Will Levis fumble at all last year? Do you remember him fumbling? I was trying to think about that today. He's put the ball on the turf 3 times this year now.
Yeah.
And all of it, like you have to wonder, like, is it just all these body blows he's taken because of the pressure? There's been times in the last 2 games where I've noticed where he's kind of getting. It's a clean pocket. It's a little muddy around him, but they're keeping him clean, and he's getting nervous. Like he's getting a little shaken.
There was one play in particular where he saw Flax not blocking anybody, and he just took off. And the protection actually was there, but he sensed that and had to take off because that's what he's been accustomed to. For crying out loud, he dislocated his finger and rolled his ankle on that safety, gutted it out. Right, like that was a gnarly looking injury.
It just sucks because really the first fumble, that was we would have said after that is Kentucky football. Yep. That drive. Yep. 15 plays, 80 yards, right down your throat to win the game and to milk the clock. That's how you beat a tempo team. You keep them off the field and you just, playing the slop, as Freddie likes to say. Mm-hmm. And great play call. He puts it on the turf. And then you come back. I thought the defense I think the defense is really good. Pass rush isn't an issue, but again, Dart hit on some big throws, but overall his efficiency wasn't there. They got a lot of hand. They allowed just as many. He had just as many explosive completions over 15 yards as Kentucky had interceptions and pass breakups. So for every time they hit a chunk play, Kentucky was recording a havoc play.
It is one of those things though, when Brad White calls up these pressures, they just got to get home on some of them because. Early
in the game I think Square came through, ran free, maybe him, and he just missed him. Yeah,
he missed him. But that's how you get De'Aaron Jackson twice guarding slot receivers because you're dialing up pressures.
Yeah, on the over routes. Yeah,
and Lane Kiffin has the response on the over route, and you just don't get home quick enough. 0 sacks again. It's back-to-back weeks. You got to tighten that up. Overall, a lot of people going into this game said we'd learn more about both teams coming away from it. And I still don't think we did a ton because
All
Dart
these
didn't do a
teams,
lot for
Nick,
me.
all these teams outside of the big three, they're all Kentucky. They're all in this pot together.
Yep.
There's not much separating them, and it's just 50. It's like the NFL. It's 50-50 games. Whoever executes in the fourth quarter is going to win the game. You know what I'm saying? Whoever quarterback usually plays better late is going to win it. Dart didn't win it for Ole Miss today, but Levis lost it for him. I hate to get on him too much, but it just is what it is. And like the offense, they're close. It's just the protection. Like you cannot give up 10 tackles for loss in 61 snaps. Like that's insane. It's utterly insane. Like you cannot. It's hard to operate like that, and I don't know the answers. I don't know how they fix it. I think today was kind of the answer. It's get run heavy, even though they probably don't really want to be that run heavy, but they kind of have to. As the AAC turns on in the background, sorry for that noise, but I don't know. It's frustrating because you see all the weapons they have at receiver. You see what Barry and Brown can do in open space. Jordan Dingle's got a bright future at tight end. You've got a bell cow running back now, but you're not able to take advantage of some of that talent in the pass game because you just worried about your quarterback and
it's
holding up front.
It was a brutal loss down in Oxford. It was an exciting morning, I'm sure, in the Grove, and Kentucky fell flat. That's 3 games against Ole Miss for Mark Stoops decided by a total of 7 points. All 3 end up in losses in the final minute of the game.
Yeah, they all were determined, right, in the last – and Kentucky almost got to do it to Ole Miss this time.
It was absolutely brutal. One of those losses we're going to be feeling for a long time now. But Kentucky's got to get back up off the mat next week against South Carolina.
Yeah.
Safe travels back to Lexington or to Kentucky. Hopefully you can get a few cold ones in to numb the pain.
Yeah, it's tough pill, I think, for this fan base to swallow because they really wanted this game. Could have got off to the 2-0 SEC start. Everything is still on the table. I mean, Nick, we went into the season. You got to protect home. So, like, these next 2 games, South Carolina, Mississippi State, are big games. You got to protect home turf. And then you had to win 2 of the 3. So now you got to go beat Tennessee on the road to get where you want to go. There's still a lot to figure out. But, like, the defense, Nick, it was pretty good. Ole Miss went punt, field goal, interception, punt, field goal, downs, punt, kneel it out to end the game. After their first 3, after that scripted, he scripts the first 20 plays, Kentucky settled in and clamps. They clamped him up. So you got some real things to believe in over there. It's just offensively, can they figure out this protection, this offensive line at all, or is it just going to be like this all year? We're 5 games in. It hasn't changed much.
Nope.
And so that is the worry.
Not looking great up front. But Kentucky gets a loss, 22-19. A tough pill to swallow for the Cats in Oxford. Big shout out to our friends at Port Royal Plants. You might need some of their organic CBD, a Kentucky proud product. Visit them at portroyalplants.com. Adam Luckett, man, this stinks. But let's go kick South Carolina's teeth in next week. That'll make everybody feel better.
It'll be Beamer Week at KSR. We'll get back ready for it. But big. It's going to be big to see how this team bounces back off of this.
Yeah.
Because we know how last year went. You set up this huge game, you go to Georgia, injuries start piling up, and things got sideways quick. Mm-hmm. And for Levis, like, how does he bounce back after this coming home? And so those will be all the things we'll be following this week, or this upcoming week.
Time for the Cats to bounce back. Adam Luckett, Safe Travels back. I'm Nick Roush. We'll see you all later. Subscribe here on Kentucky Sports Radio on YouTube for plenty more content coming from the Cats all season long.